Kia ora, ko tāma te Norman Takoingoa. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Native Rituals Skincare and Fragrances. We started Native out of a journey that we took in 2009 to see my wife's family in Papua New Guinea. I come from a remote community in the far north, from Te Hapua, up in Whenua, and I grew up in a little place called Whangaruru. And with Rebecca coming from Misima in the Milne Bay province, we both come from isolated communities that we see a lot of incredible resource and whakapapa and stories that we can integrate into products. So initially we were bringing coconut oil. So between 2009 and 2011 I did a lot of research and relationship building. And I met our co-founder James Iho in 2010 when he first started with the fragrances. And over a period of a couple of years we started to work together. Primarily we were in food, and then as we were working with the fragrances, we were having a conversation one day and he said, I said to him, Becca and I, we've wanted to start a cosmetics company. We've wanted to do moisturisers and skincare and integrate her history and our Māori history into a product range. And James said, why don't we do it together? And so over that period we've developed 22 products and a food range. So it's been a really interesting journey, challenging at times, but we've enjoyed it. And the capacity for us to tell the story of 40,000 years of grooming and skincare out of Papua New Guinea, and also the thousands of years of history of Māori fragrance, the ambitions of our tupuna as they stood on the shores of Whariki and dreamed of new lands is something for us that is intrinsic within what we do. It's standing on the whakapapa of our tupuna. What do I love about being in business? I love the freedom and the capability to be who I am. That does come with its challenges. When you get a phone call and you can get pulled in many different directions, but I think the thing that I love about it is being able to plan my own path and plan our own path, and to work towards a cause that we believe in. That's something I think that's really important for us in being in business is you've got to believe in what you're doing, because there's days when you wake up and you're like, why did we start? And then you go back to the core vision and you're like, this is what I love about business. If you're working for somebody else, you're buying into their vision and you're building theirs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I've had that vision for the last 6 years of driving something forward, of interconnecting cultures. And if you've got an underpin to what you do in business, no matter how hard it gets, you'll still hold on. Even if you have to take a hiatus and regroup, that underpin of why will always drive you forward. That's what I love about it. I get to determine my why. The biggest challenges that we've had is that we're a 7-hour flight away from some of our main suppliers, from where we were trying to start. Papua New Guinea, it's the most beautiful country in the world. It's untouched. It's the final frontier. But when you go to the final frontier, there's difficulties that you will encounter in that environment. So when I was traveling back, I did something like 27 flights in our first year. One of those, I think it was like 15, was in a week period. I think you need to know your market. For us, I think I was slightly naive when I started both businesses really. One of them, I was a 7-hour flight away from where all our suppliers were, multiple flights, understanding your relationships with your suppliers. You've got to go and see the plantations. You've got to walk through them. For us anyway, you've got to go, if you're doing wool or you're doing anything that's a hard material, you need to go and see the supply. You've got to understand the capabilities of it. Your freight, your shipping, digital and that, it's a different story. But if you're making a product, you've really got to know. For us, our ship came in once a month to pick up coconut oil. Sometimes the ship didn't come. When you've got customers that are waiting, it's a challenge you've got to work through.